This is John Petrucci from Dream Theater, and you're watching HDtracks, Master Musician. It was great being back in the studio, this time having Mike Mangini in the studio with us during the creative process. We started it in January of this year, and the whole band came into the studio. We set everything up, mic'd everything up, and we started playing, and I think because of that there was a real sort of live spirit. We were able to capture a lot of the magic of improvisation and inspiration while we were recording and writing, and we just had a great time. It was from January through May. It was mixed in June, and I'm so excited that it's coming out. When we set out to make this album, we wanted to make it the ultimate Dream Theater listening experience. Recently, doing an interview, one of the journalists said that listening to the whole album almost felt like being at a Dream Theater concert, and I have to agree with him, meaning that there's a definite curve to the whole thing. If you were to put it on and listen to it from beginning to end, there is an introduction that really kind of builds excitement. There's a lot of high energy at the beginning, then there's a curve that it brings you up to. It brings you down, lets you breathe, and then there's a big epic grand finale at the end. So we wanted to make that listening experience be something that we could point to in our career, even 12 albums in, and say, if you've never heard the band before, this is the album to listen to. Or if you are a fan of the band, you're going to love this because it's going to have all the elements that make us unique and make our music special. As a producer on this album going in, I felt it was really important to make sure that the band was all on the same page as to the type of album that we wanted to make. We discussed all the different elements, wanting to do an instrumental on the album, for example, the song structures, and sonically the type of album that we wanted to make, and the team to put together in order to do that. So that's kind of the first step as a producer going in. I think the biggest difference on this album, in talking to Richard Chicky, our engineer, was that in order to really make this album kind of breathe and be alive and be spontaneous, and just have a real forward sound to it, we wanted to make sure that from the moment we started writing in the studio that we were capturing everything that we were doing. We've done that before, but this time we took even extra time to not only mic everything up, isolate everything in the studio, but get the sounds that you would eventually hear on the album. So in other words, while we were writing, let's say it's week 1, week 2, and a song was shaping up, the way that it sounded in the studio at that point, it's pretty much the way it sounds as you're hearing it when you get the final copy, which is an undertaking, but it's really eye-opening as far as creating music, as you really get to know what it's sounding like.
In moments of pain,
I think that it's important to evolve musically and creatively. We're a band that has been together for going on 28 years, 27, 28 years. This is our 12th studio album. We've done many world tours. We have a lot of fans that have been with us from the very beginning, and we have a lot of discerning fans. We have a lot of fans that are passionate about music. They're music lovers, and so we have that same attitude, and in order to keep things interesting, not only for ourselves but for our listeners and our audience, and to keep the excitement up as we're going to set out on tour and play this new music, we need to evolve. We have to evolve in many different ways, not only as songwriters and as players, but in the way that we record things, and in the equipment that we use, and the sounds that we get, and the techniques that we employ. All that stuff has to evolve to just keep things constantly moving. That sort of organic, evolving, living, breathing thing. I think if when things get stale and you get complacent and you're just kind of on this flat line, that's the worst thing you can do. So it's really important for us to evolve. For the remainder of the year, of course, we have our new album coming out, and we hope that everybody enjoys that. We also have a live DVD that's coming out on November 4th that it's called Live at Luna Park. We recorded it last year on the Dramatic Turn of Events tour in Argentina for 2 nights, and that's really exciting. There's a lot of music and a lot of information on that, including a documentary and a whole bunch of really cool things. That'll take us through the end of the year, and our world tour in support of Dream Theater will start in January. We start in Europe. I believe the first show is in Portugal. That will go all throughout Europe, and then we'll be in North America, we'll be in South America, Asia, all over the world, as we always love to do. And you can go to dreamtheater.net to look for tour dates. That's updated regularly. And we also have some exciting stuff going on as far as music videos for the new album, so look for those. And yeah, very busy time, but we're excited to finally have this music out. We recorded the album in high def, and we did record it digitally, and the interesting thing about doing that, and the thing that's important to that, is that when we're in the studio and everything's mic'd up and we're getting our sounds and everything, the way that we're hearing it, not only in real time, but as soon as it's recorded and we're listening to the playback in the highest quality that we can, I mean, that's when we're the most discerning, and that's when it sounds exactly the way, as a band, we want it to sound, as musicians, we want our instruments to sound, as an engineer, how Rich wants it to sound, and that's everything from drums to stringed instruments and everything in between. Now, the important thing is that now there is an actual way that you can listen to that. You know, if we record it that way, and it exists that way, there is a way that the consumer could listen to that eventually, and that's what HDtracks is all about. I mean, you know, typically you listen to a download, whether it's on iTunes or maybe your CD you put in, it's only 16-bit. It's not the same. And I've often said this, that when I'm in the mix studio and I'm listening back to the album to approve the mix, and it's in that high def quality, and it's perfect studio, and the speakers are great, and I get a little bit of a sad feeling that nobody's going to be able to hear it this way, and most people are going to listen to it, you know, kind of dumbed down and with earbuds, and at the very worst, like maybe some sort of stream that's being compressed over the internet. But the fact that there is a way out there that you can listen to it in the way that we intended and recorded it is amazing.